Hi, everyone.
Hi.
Welcome to Coffee and Commentary, a new segment of much-needed advice where we bring humor and perspective to current events and pop culture.
Hi, listeners. As you know by now, Julie and I are watching Sex and the City's new installment called And Just Like That, Season 2. After you listen, don't forget to follow or subscribe, give us 5 stars, and leave a review. Enjoy.
That's cozy.
There we go. Now we're in business.
So I need to fix my dark circles.
Meanwhile, I look dead.
Whatever, we're going to put a filter on it.
Yeah.
That's showbiz, baby.
Let's start.
Hi.
We're back. This is about Sex and the City's And Just Like That, Season 2, Episode 5. Let's begin with the unsung hero of this episode, Harry's wig. Harry's wig made me laugh out loud. Once again, he is the funniest character in the show.
He continues to carry the show, unlike Carrie.
He genuinely is so funny and such a talented comedic actor. And his relationship with Charlotte with The Americans bit.
That nobody watches that show, even though it's like got critical acclaim. Also, the wig looks nothing like the guy's hair in the show.
It's a totally random male hair wig.
Yeah.
It's just a brown wig, but it's perfect. Getting more into the Harry and Charlotte storyline with Rock being a model for... Oh, okay, let me start over. Sorry, I just had a Mitch McConnell moment. The woman
With
was
Rock
too stunned.
being, wow, you could run for Congress.
Yeah. So for the record, when it comes to all this modeling stuff, Harry is totally right.
Yeah. It is sus that some dude at the park just came up to them. Anybody could print out a Ralph Lauren business card. And you don't want to model in front of a green screen when you don't know what they're going to put on it in post. Harry's right about everything.
Right. Who made that big gaffe? Was it Balenciaga? No.
I mean, it wasn't a green screen thing, but Balenciaga put all kinds of shady stuff in their photo shoots that models and people weren't aware of until somebody like zoomed in after the finished product.
Yeah, so you do have to be careful. And the whole scam of someone saying that they want to sign you as a model or they want you to model for them, that's everywhere all the time. We had a roommate in college who got really excited because someone approached her about being a model and he made her pay like $800 for a photo shoot. And then,
We did?
remember? Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah, just because he had a business card and called himself a manager, all of a sudden she's paying like $800 for some extreme photo shoot, gets all excited about it, and then for some reason never hears from him after that. So,
And you can never be too careful about children.
yeah.
Children modeling.
Okay. Should we move on to Seema's storyline?
The penis pump of it all.
So this is another good SATC topic, right? I don't think it was covered on the original show. It's something new to talk about. And it even caused me to do a little research on what a penis pump is and how it works. And wow.
I feel like I can now frame you for a penis pump related crime because they'll look into your search history and be like,
see, what would a penis pump related crime look like?
well,
Like
you could kill someone with a penis pump.
Right, because what if you like put one on their eyeball and suctioned their eyeball out of their skull? Is that what you had in mind?
It's,
wow.
oh my God, you read my mind.
We can always finish each other's sentences. Yeah, basically it works as a tube that you stick the dick in. You pull the handle out and it creates a vacuum which rushes blood into the dick. And then you put a cock ring around the dick to keep the blood in the dick. And then you use the dick. And then you also probably need to use Viagra. So it's a lot. It's like a physical contraption. There's no like electricity involved. It looked way more involved because he had a
You thought there was electricity
briefcase.
involved?
Look, if I were to picture a tool that would ignite a penis, you know those like paddles that you put on someone's chest when you need to bring them back to life?
Charge to 100. Clear. Jeff and I play that game with Brooks all the time. We shock Brooks back to life. He lays there and just plays dead. And then we put our hands on and go, clear.
That's a good dog bit.
He loves it.
Yeah, so that's how it works.
All the men's penises have shrunk inside their bodies as you talk about like electric shocking them.
I don't know. I keep a set in my side table drawer along with the vibrator. It's just come standard these days.
Yeah.
Yeah, all of the articles that I read, the many articles, describe taking Viagra at the same time anyway. So I'm really sorry if there's men out there where Viagra isn't enough.
Wow, you're
Shirley
saying
says
there
to
might
finish
be
herself.
a medication for men that doesn't work? How sad.
We better funnel all of our research into it.
Yeah, we
And-
better pay like $100 million per year or whatever in our military budget. You saw that, right? The military pays for Viagra for soldiers, and it's a huge...
Who are they fucking? Each other?
I guess on their break, or, you know...
On their breaks? This is my 30-minute break.
when they all go home and impregnate their wife
When they
for like the
clock out.
25th time.
Yeah, to raise the child alone.
Yeah.
Oh, look, I think the military should pay for all medications for soldiers, so I guess that's fine on the surface. I just think it's incredible the amount of research and money and marketing that has gone into Viagra, and compare that to women's egg retrievals.
Birth control, which gives us all horrible side effects.
Let's not forget, like Seema said, she doesn't even get to orgasm when she has sex. But God forbid men go a second without being able to get hard, because that's the most important thing in healthcare.
Yeah, so the military spends $41 million per year on Viagra. It's a lot of hard dicks. Or soft dicks, I guess. But anyway,
Nothing against soldiers.
thank you for your service.
Yeah.
This conversation,
Maybe we'll cut this.
we've gotten real far.
We're going to cut that out. Award for best noise of the episode was Seema's impersonation of the penis pump.
How come you do it Russian?
Wait, you do it.
Now that felt Russian, now that I said it.
I feel like the way Seema did it.
She really
feel
said like f and ta. Futa, futa, futa. I sound like a caveman.
Futa, futa, futa. We're keeping this in at all costs. It was
so good.
really well acted. Well, I think we can jump straight to the Che and Miranda storyline.
Our favorites storylines.
Yeah.
So
Least favorite couple in the series.
So Miranda gets up at 5 a.m. to go from Che's house to Brooklyn to carve a pumpkin and make pancakes for her grown son who's like, Mom, you don't have to make me breakfast every day, and then spends the rest of the episode complaining about how she has to wake up early. You got up, took the subway at 5 a.m. to carve a pumpkin. For what?
And apparently you also have class again now, so she's back in school. It's too much. And for the record, both Che and Miranda are wrong in this scenario because Che is now clearly not only a fuck they, but also a frat they, and really does not need to be acting like this at 3 a.m.
So Che is 46, we learned in this episode, and they still have friends over to watch them play video games till 3:30 in the morning when their girlfriend is sleeping over and has to get up early. Like none of it makes sense.
So Che is sitting down at dinner with Miranda, and Miranda eats something spicy, and Che goes, "Hey, I'm worried about that upper lip of yours because I don't want to have currylingus later." Imagine if you were having dinner with your boyfriend and out of the blue, he says, "Oh, I hope whatever you're eating isn't too spicy because I'm going to need you to suck my dick later."
Seriously, it's like, I'm just trying to eat dinner here. Can you,
like, do you have to be a douchebag at every turn?
Harassing me at a restaurant. Just the fact that somebody obviously came up with currylingus and then they like reverse engineered the joke and they're like, all right, how do we get Miranda eating curry?
Yeah, they're obviously creating puns and then working backwards from there to try to make up a storyline, and that's why they don't make sense.
Yes.
So someone finally tells Che they suck. The focus group about Che's pilot was very meta.
It was like insane that they basically condensed all the criticism of their own show that we're watching and then said it out loud.
It made it a storyline. Made it Che's actual storyline.
Yeah.
The genderqueer participant in the focus group speaks for us all.
They said Che's character was like a walking boomer joke and was a, quote, bullshit version of what the non-binary experience is.
But I think this is the best thing that could possibly happen with Che's character, and I'm kind of interested in where this journey is going to go because Che's breakdown is very well acted. Mm-hmm. I feel like there's finally some nuance to this character.
Yeah, obviously they want their show to be successful. They want to be representation for that community, but they know that the way it's being gone about is bullshitty and they don't agree with it either, and they agree with their big hater, but then they're still upset about it. It's like, okay, something has shades of gray for once.
And I wonder if the writers had this discussion with each other after season 1.
Is this how they're like apologizing to us?
Is this how they're finally acknowledging that this is the worst character ever created for TV? By saying now inside the show, Che is realizing that they are inauthentic and that they need to be humbled.
And that they're the boomer version of representation.
Yes. And I think that's one of the challenges with And Just Like That is it's the same writers and creators as the original Sex and the City, but it's a new decade. Like the best people to take on the new iteration of Sex and the City might not be the same people that knew what was ahead of their time back in the 90s. I feel like it would be a fresh batch of people.
Yeah.
In order to continue to get fresh content.
The only thing we didn't cover, I don't think, or did we? Miranda needing to buy a used twin mattress from Goodwill. What happened?
Miranda,
that's so gross. Don't buy used mattresses.
So does Miranda have money or does she not have money? She was a fancy lawyer, partner at a firm when she was in her 30s. That's big time. But I know she's not working now. But Steve has a really successful bar that he owns. Does she really need to buy a used mattress? Does she
Stay
really
in-
need to crash at random, like, friends' places?
in Naya's tiny spare room?
I'm confused as to Miranda's financial status. Like,
Does she have
what's-
money? If she does, how? There's something missing here.
Yeah. All right. Now for our last storyline. Carrie and the bike guy.
What the fuck?
I have 3 pages
I have
of
so many notes about this
notes.
too.
There's a lot to cover.
Yeah. So, okay. So Carrie is on the phone. She's crossing the street. She stops in the bike lane.
Right.
And he's like, you can't stand in a bike lane. You can't stand in a bike lane. You can't stand in a bike lane. Like, instead of squawking up about the bike lane, just stop. Just brake.
I refuse to accept that this is Carrie's fault. He brought this on himself. Like,
This would never
put on
hold
your
up in
brakes.
court. Like, we go on to learn that Carrie's worried about being sued. For what? Standing?
Why is Carrie worried about this?
Is she worried she's going to be the next Gwyneth Paltrow ski trial? Well, she didn't even hit him. She was just standing there and he didn't hit her. There was no contact.
To be clear, there was no collision.
Right.
He just fell over.
What a loser.
He just fell over on his bike and broke his own wrist.
So then it's nice she goes with him to the urgent care, but then she stays there all day. She fills out his paperwork for him, gives him her address for no reason,
And her full name for no reason.
and then eavesdrops on his phone calls.
Makes all these assumptions.
So I thought that this was going to be a deeper storyline. I thought the reason she was staying with him and was so concerned about him was because of her trauma from watching Big die and not being able to help. Like, seemed obvious, but that would require her to be a 3-dimensional character, which she clearly is not, and can completely compartmentalize the love of her life who died in front of her.
It's
And,
right
like, it
there,
never
you guys.
comes up again.
It was right there. She couldn't save Big, felt guilty, wants to save the next person
Yep.
when she has the opportunity to. Why wouldn't you just make the connection? And that would have made a lot more sense why she's being so irrational about stalking him later when it's completely unnecessary.
Yeah, but no. So
No.
it just became about how she's famous and doesn't want to get sued.
But anyway, his card gets declined, which, by the way, thanks front desk lady for shouting that at the entire urgent care room.
Would never happen.
And then she turns the other way. She literally goes like this. Bitch, you're rich. Pick
You
up
just-
the bill.
You just gave Enid $100,000 for no reason.
She literally just PayPal'd someone $100,000 on the fly. If you think this guy is poor and you don't know when his next meal is coming, but you're not willing to pick up his medical bill when he's injured and his card gets declined.
So the way that she goes about solving this is she shows up at his door because she memorized his address from his medical forms.
Imagine if a man did that, just snooped on your address, memorized it, and then showed up at
I
your
would
door.
immediately call the police. I'm not kidding. So she shows up at his door with soup.
Presumably because she thinks that's what poor people eat.
She thinks he's poor, so she brings the soup kitchen to him. Because it's not like he's sick. He broke his wrist. So he goes, you brought me 3 different soups. And she's like, well, I thought you could freeze a couple. Like, she thinks this
Detective.
she thinks this man is food insecure.
How much do you think his urgent care bill was?
I don't know, like $1,500.
How hard would that have been? But thank God she realizes he's rich, so now they can make out.
Yes.
So now he can be a love interest.
he goes from being a charity case to oh, he's got an Eames chair, so now I can make out with him. Also, she's like, I'm here to help you with your presentation.
I thought that was a joke until she actually opens up a laptop as if you're actually going to... Let's talk about the technology here for a minute.
We have a lot to talk about regarding this PowerPoint.
Listen, we are WIBs, Women in Business. Okay.
We are PDMs, professional deck makers.
But I feel like you don't even need to be to know that Python isn't required to make a PowerPoint deck.
It's
kind of like how Final Cut isn't required to write ad copy.
To make a pitch deck, you do not need to know coding. Is anybody okay?
Okay, that's just point number one. Point number two, this guy's business partner,
Paul.
So he's the business guy and George is the guy who can code. Presumably, George builds the apps, Paul sells them. So Paul would be the guy who would make the pitch deck. And what else is Paul doing? He has all this time to go pick up dry cleaning, drop it off at George's place, then go back to his place. We could have made the whole deck in that time.
Yeah, you're in Manhattan. You know how long that probably took? Also, he has all this time to incessantly micromanage George, who just broke his wrist. Also, they've already sold 3 apps. So they have proven templates.
How do they not have a routine down? How do they not have deck templates? How do they not have a team underneath them doing all this shit now?
Well, George mentions his assistant. Not sure why the assistant can't help with the deck.
Oh, yeah. No, but the assistant is spending their time messengering a deck.
Physical.
They're digital folks.
These men who build apps
are messengering
don't know how to email a
PowerPoint copy of a PowerPoint deck.
Why? All right, let's talk about the elephant in the room.
What's that?
George's adult ADHD. George's undiagnosed adult ADHD.
Okay, listen, Carrie. This isn't about him being married to his job or married to his business partner. George just has ADHD. And his business partner hasn't figured out how to collaborate with him well. And George needs to get on meds. So
yeah. You're telling me George hasn't picked up his dry cleaning for a month? You're
being
telling
able to
me
accomplish an entire app build in 2 days sounds like someone with ADHD.
Has great taste in art and furniture. Definitely has ADHD.
Successful, but also doesn't have their shit together. You guessed it.
ADHD.
George just needs to get on TikTok.
You know, one thing Carrie might have been right about, though, is not knowing when his last meal was because he has ADHD.
Never have we ever known when our last meal was.
No.
Or when our next meal will be. Can't be bothered with such things.
If only a rich lady would bring us soup.
My mom does sometimes. For me to put in my freezer so I don't forget to eat.
A rich lady does bring
so
you
Carrie
soup.
was onto something maybe. But as always, the big joke is on the American healthcare system.
Yeah. We've got the urgent care that takes all day and costs your rent.
Oh, talk about the opioid crisis.
George made 2 jokes, 2 scenes in a row about opioids that had no payoff, you know? He was just like, must be the opioids. And then in the next day when she showed up on his doorstep, he's like, all right, sure, you can come in. My last Percocet's about to wear off anyway. If you want opioids to be in the show, if you must, it should be George is a former addict, so he refuses the opioids when he's at the urgent care, which means he's in a lot of pain.
And that's why Carrie has to jump through all these hoops to be more helpful.
Right. Not that he's just sitting in his bachelor pad popping Percocets.
I feel like, wasn't there another episode where they took something really lightly that in like a dangerous way?
Oh, I know. It was when they were all hitting on the
Statutory
teenage
rape.
boy. Yes.
That's right.
Oh, God.
Yeah. Opioid addiction and statutory rape.
Great.
Hilarious.
Great topics.
All right.
Cool.
Cool.
Thanks, guys. See you next time.
See ya.
That's what we think. What do you think? DM us at much.needed.advice with your commentary. Rate, review, and subscribe wherever you get your podcasts.